Oscar De La Hoya clapback Thursday was crazy. On Oscar De La Hoya on his clapback Thursday, man, he talked about top rank, talk about top rank sinking in the ship, far as them losing their contract with ESPN. Then he talked about top rank reps getting sued and everything. Basically was just playing, top rank, downplaying them, pretty much. And it was kind of ironic seeing, Oscar talk about them doing that because, like, I mean, like I said before, we talking about, PBC and Top Rank right now. They linking up and they joining forces to make a lot of fights together so they can control the American market in boxing. And Oscar, he should be one to do the same. And so I don't really agree with the slander from him on Top Rank because Oscar, you ain't in a great state for as your business in boxing, bro. You had to sell Turkey Ring Magazine because you wasn't doing nothing with Ring Magazine. You know what I'm saying? And Turkey, he done made Ring Magazine and got it lit. Turkey basically used it to Ring Magazine as his social media fuel to promote what he want to say and what he want to do in boxing, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, so and you don't have control over your business like that, bro. Like your fights with Golden Boy, trash. Like you don't put on no good events for real, Oscar. Let's be real. I mean, so you ain't putting on no better events than Top Rank. We'll say that for sure. You ain't even a head promoter for the Fatal Fury card, and three of your fighters is on the card. So what are we talking about, Oscar? Like you can't be sitting there talking crazy about Top Rank going out of business. Like, bro, you done sold Ring Magazine. You throwing nothing but Thursday night fights for your prospects, and then you will do a card here and there. Turkey is funding all of your events. You don't have no control over Golden Boy for real. What fights are you putting on? Turkey putting on the Ryan and the Devin fight. You ain't even putting on that fight. You put on the first fight. You ain't even putting on the second fight. So, Oscar, I disagree with you on your slander towards Top Rank. That was out of pocket. You know what I mean? But we are going to talk about Oscar talking about Dana White. He put out a lot of crazy facts about Dana White. Talk about, Dana White when he was in when he first came into combat sports, he came into combat sports in boxing first. And he failed in boxing. And then he came up with UFC. And UFC is what it is today. One of the most popular, combat sports there is. But UFC kind of a little on the downslide. Dana White got sued $375 million in a lawsuit from former UFC fighters. Talked about how he was underpaying a lot of his UFC fighters, paying them crumbs pretty much, and a lot of his UFC fighters trying to come over to boxing so they can box. And talk about TKO boxing. Talk about the persons that's rumored to be out there, saying that none of the boxers that is stars in boxing is going to fight for that rumored purchase that TKO boxing is bringing to the game. You know what I mean? That the stars of boxing pretty much is not going to mess with Dana White. And interesting, man. Which is I can't lie. I 100% agree with him. I 100% agree with Oscar on this point. And he did mention, he's like, they asked, he said at the end, he said, would he work with Dana White? And he said, yeah, 80% of the guys that I work with anyway is scumbags. So, you know what I'm saying? Which I say always in boxing, bro. Boxing is a dirty game for so many different aspects, man, especially with the promoters, you know what I mean? And even Oscar himself, he a dirty motherfucker too, you know what I'm saying? He ain't exempt. So, like, you know what I mean? And the Oscar done played some dirty games in boxing as well. So, you know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna even go all into that. So he's not exempt at all. But it's a very dirty game in so many aspects. And he cooked Dana White, man. He cooked Dana White. He flushed him. You know what I'm saying? They Dana White, like I said, he don't. he ain't trying to pay. He's trying to build boxing from the ground up with basically a business plan that's going to take several years long to pay off and pay dividends. You know what I'm saying? He's trying to build it from the ground up with, fighters from the amateurs and start them off and had the whole UFC module in the boxing and doing it in the way boxing is set right now, the climate and everything that's going on in boxing right now. Shit's not going to work, man. I'm telling you. It's not gonna work in so many phases, man. So many phases, bro. It's not gonna work, and it's just too. It at boxing is set to a certain a certain multitude right now to where like somebody coming in trying to do a module of a boxing league like that, like similar to UFC and to boxing. I mean, it's cool, but if you don't got the stars in play with you, a lot of people gonna look at you as a pro box TV overtime, that OT boxing shit. They gonna look at you as that. You know what I mean? Which it looks like that's what TKO boxing to me, that's what it looked like that's gonna be. It's gonna be some overtime boxing, lower pro box TV shit. And don't get me wrong, ain't no standard of pro box TV because I love pro box TV. You know what I'm saying? But pro box TV, the way they doing their thing, they bringing in some of the veteran fighters and stuff and everything. So they doing a lot of different. So the module's not the same. But the module for TKO is trying to build everything from the ground up and have a whole UFC module for us, the champion, 10 limited weight divisions and one belt in each division, which is I love the one belt concept, but at the same time, I mean, not gonna work well with the sanctioned bodies and the other champions that got belts and stuff. You know what I'm saying? They treasure those sanctioned bodies and no belts. Yeah. So yeah, I agree 100% with Oscar De La Hoya as far as what he said about Dana White, man. He cooked him for sure, man. And we're gonna get into the next topic, man, for sure. All right, man. Can't wait.